All right, and we are live. What's up, DCTV fam? It is August 17th, 2022. The stock market right now is a little bit down on some retail numbers. Target actually ended up bringing the market down a little bit this morning, but we could see a little bit of a move back up because of retail spending in general actually doing pretty well. Those numbers came out for the month of July. We're looking at the Dow right now is down 200 points thereabouts. The S&P is down 33. The NASDAQ is down 113. I'm looking at Bitcoin right now, and it had a little bit of a rough day yesterday, but this morning it's down even more. We're looking at it down around 775. I'm sorry, 0.75%. That's down at 23,674. And guys, how is everybody doing this morning?
Doing fantastic.
Outstanding. Ready for another day.
That pullback, it's just a pullback. It's okay.
Looks as if you guys are on assignment. Look, now I see some creep in your background as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just a little bit of local love to a fine coffee shop here in Mooresville, North Carolina.
Bro,
I have a gift card to there.
That coffee shop is legit.
Yes.
Good place.
I got a gift card to there for my birthday, so looking forward to spending it.
Same. We got Peter in the house. What's up, my man? And Dave Perlmutter. He's from the OTC crew, so good to see you in here, bro. I let everybody know on my live stream in the afternoon what we got going on here. So it's good to see one of my guys in there. Appreciate you showing out, brother. We also got
Nemesis.
How
you doing? He's from way back in the day.
That's
yes,
right.
Nemesis. You probably remember Jaime.
Bitcoin.
That's awesome.
Bitcoin OGs coming out of the woodworks. We're calling them.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. So, just wanted to get into a couple things today. One of the big, as the title had said, crypto scammers have been a problem, still are a problem. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But on the traditional investing side, we got a little bit to talk about with Bed Bath & Beyond. Now, I chatted about this a little bit yesterday afternoon in my stream, but I kind of want to bring it here to you guys because there's obviously a lot of shitcoins out there that go crazy. We saw Shiba, and we talked about Doge a little bit yesterday. And there's some of that going on in the actual stock market as well. Bed Bath & Beyond was up 30% yesterday. It's up another 33% this morning in pre-market trading. Let me take a look. Let me show you this. It looks as if we're seeing a repeat of the AMC GameStop saga. Here's your crazy-ass looking chart. This is your daily chart, by the way, on Bed Bath & Beyond. It is absolutely wild. So, there is a lot of short interest on this. One of the big reasons this has been moving is because of what we're seeing from Ryan Cohen. If you guys aren't familiar with Ryan Cohen, he is on the board of GameStop and now owns a shit ton of Bed Bath & Beyond. So this has been an interesting move. The short interest on this is around 42%, according to Seeking Alpha. Oof. That is actually a ton. So, I kind of want to get your guys' thoughts on this, just as in general. My first initial ones. Well, I'll let you guys go first, and I'll give you my thoughts. Go ahead.
So, the shitcoin pumps and dumps are real out there in the stonks world, eh? Yeah. Fred? I mean, it's translating out there.
Yeah, and I guess the bigger question to you guys is, what would you even do with a stock like this? Is there any kind of FOMO for either one of you, or have you ever gotten yourself caught up in FOMO, whether it was some sort of shitcoin or whether maybe it was something like this, like an AMC or GameStop, what have you?
Yes.
So, yes, and I've been out there where we've seen the pump and dump occur, and now, as it happened with the previous example with AMC, it's a dangerous game to play, and you have to stay cool on this because everyone buying at this top may be holding that bag at the end of it. So just stay chill, control your emotions, don't jump on this one. I personally won't, but of course, not financial advice. If you see something we don't see, you investor, go for it.
Yeah, always money to be made. You can make money, but just don't forget you could also lose money very quickly, my friends. So unless you know what you're doing with these kind of meme coins in the crypto market, they're very similar to penny stocks, meme coins. Just be careful. There is money to be made. I made it in Ripple. I made some money in Ripple, but I got out quick. When the FOMO was real. Because when the FOMO happens, you're too late. You're too late.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep. What you got?
I
Greg?
got friends still holding MC.
I know, it's so crazy. The apes are absolutely insane. Were you going to say something, Greg?
No.
Oh, okay. So my thoughts on this are pretty similar. Look, if you haven't learned by now, let's just take a look at AMC, right? AMC went all the way up to $70, $76 a share, $72 a share. And I actually warned people about this, the same type of warning that I'm giving people now. And I got chastised on the internet, the death threats, all kinds of like how much of a terrible person I am. I'm a shill for Citadel. And then what happened, right? I mean, it literally just continued to go down. And it's still down. I mean, it's at $24.81, which is a hell of a bounce from where it was at around $10 at its bottom. But it's not anywhere close to where it was nearly a year and a half ago at $72.59. And we look at GameStop, the same thing, right? GameStop got damn near $500 a share. It's sitting at $42 now, and it was the same story. Look at this; it shot all the way up. They've done a split since then, but it shot all the way up to $120. Then came down and now sitting at $42. That is, over 50% down still. And if you even bought it anywhere in here in the days and weeks following, you're still in the red on this. There's no reason why Bed Bath & Beyond should be up here, especially because there is a huge risk of them actually going bankrupt. And if that happens, then everything's going to zero. And you're actually going to lose all of your money, and you're not going to get it back. Period.
Right. You have to look at
wise
it as well.
words, Brad.
Yes, organic, inorganic. Why did it shoot up to $120? Why is it falling now? Are there reasons? And if there's no legitimate business reason because the CEO switched or the team switched or they came out with a new product that is, people are can't wait to hit the market. That's one thing for FOMO. If it just happens, that's manipulation. And you just have to be able to try to identify that. Is this organic growth? Did something get rugged and pull away from you completely? Is it a scam? Is it a Ponzi? Try to figure out why.
Well, that's what's happening here, right? There is clear manipulation happening. We're seeing a bunch of short interest coming on this. As I'd mentioned, 42% short interest on Bed Bath & Beyond, which is high, by the way. So textbook short squeeze. I'm not here to tell you that it's not going higher. I'm just telling you that the chances of you losing money are getting higher and higher the more that this goes up. I mean, as I mentioned, 29% gains yesterday. It's up another 33% this morning. So as this continues to move up, the risk certainly gets higher. Can you make money off of this? Sure. Yes. Can the squeeze continue? Absolutely. But it could also just come crashing down on you. And so that's the risk that you have to be willing to take if you're looking to get into something like a Bed Bath & Beyond. But for me, it's a pass, yo.
Stay salty. Stay salty, my friends. In the words of the Doge Lord.
Yeah, absolutely. Checking out. We got Gundy coming in. What's up, my man?
Gundy, faithful. Love having Gundy in here.
Gundy.
And then we got Lord Fenrir, one of my folks over on the Chaos crew. Everybody's coming to represent and support.
Awesome. Welcome.
So
welcome.
Good morning.
So this is pretty awesome to see some of my folks in here too. We're bringing the bands together. I'm loving it. If you guys are watching and haven't hit that thumbs up, I certainly would appreciate it. Get that like button going and start pushing this shit out. What do you guys got? That was my little spiel to get us started this morning. Who's got something that
for sharing? So for the OGs, within this same channel we're transmitting in, there are 2 playlists, and you're going to see it on the description also. One of the playlists I'll cover myself, and then Tamp will cover the other one. But B90X, which is like a crypto boot camp, crypto lifestyle boot camp. It is not. This was launched by Peter back in the Bitcoin.pub days and DCTV days, the original ones. I highly recommend everyone jump in there. I did the whole program multiple times because it not just covers the fundamentals of Bitcoin, crypto overall, but also the discipline of identifying things like what's going on with these pumps in the stunk world. We're used to it in the crypto world, but in the stunk world, you'll be able to quickly identify what is real, what is not, and also the discipline it's going to take for the entire community to really get involved and engaged into this new industry that's taking over the world at this moment, Web3. So please join in there. You'll see the thread. It's about 90 days, literally 90 days. Peter never does anything small. He dedicates 90 days to anything he does. So as a bare minimum, get in there, go through the program. And there's a few things that we will update in terms, they're still valid. All the information is still valid, but certain how-to guides in there, we will release updates very shortly. And the other announcement I'd like to do is for DCTV, we are also launching Descentralizado TV for the Latin American world or the Spanish-speaking world, everywhere from the Philippines down to Argentina and Spain, for them to get engaged into this community. So please get in there. And if you have any questions, reach out to us even here in the mornings show or on the comments below. That's all I had to say today.
So Jaime, Tamp, I want to get into crypto. What is some of the best resources besides B90X to use today?
Sure. It's a good question. And a lot of people in here are just wondering, they're dabbling. Should I even get into crypto? Maybe you've bought something before. Maybe you've just thinking about it and you're ready to pull the trigger. I've had a lot of people come to me with this, and this is what I always say. Number one, like we spoke about the other day, let's focus on one thing. Let's focus on Bitcoin right now, because you can easily get overwhelmed by the multiple thousands of different cryptocurrencies out there. Same could go for the stock market. So let's just pick one granddaddy that it's important that we know how this works before we go forward. So let's just focus on Bitcoin for now, okay? And if you can show me that you're dedicated to focusing on Bitcoin, then maybe we can open up the world of all the other ones to you once you kind of understand that. So my first thing I say is go read the white paper. We spoke about this. Just go read the white paper. You won't understand it, not the first time through, and you're going to skip over all the math equations, but at least you've read it. At least you're dedicating and not just saying, I want to do this on an emotional whim, right? So read the white paper. Once you've read the white paper and, okay, I'm ready to go get some Bitcoin, there's 2 places that I would recommend going today. And again, you can start watching the 10 Days of Bitcoin, a resource that we have linked under this channel. 10 Days of Bitcoin, extremely solid walkthrough information that is still relevant today. Some of the things have been updated as far as websites go for today, but I would go to one of 2 places. I would go to Coinbase or I would go to crypto.com. They're US-based companies. They're vetted, okay? They're not scammer companies. So choose one or the other. Take a look at both websites. See which one you like better. There is no difference. Once you're ready to start an account at one of those 2 spots, go ahead and sign up for it on their official websites. Make sure that you are on the official websites of crypto.com or of Coinbase, okay? When you sign up for these things, they are going to ask you a lot of personal information. It's called Know Your Customer, or KYC for short. You'll hear that term a lot in the cryptoverse, KYC, Know Your Customer. This is where regulation comes in. This is where the IRS can come in, but this is also 100% normal and in a lot of ways very good for crypto adoption, okay? That being said, the KYC process on both of those websites are going to be pretty detailed. They are going to want uploads of your formal IDs, be it a passport, driver's license, something of the sort. They're going to want to know social security numbers. They're going to want to know your mailing address, so that way they can tell which state you're in. They are also going to want to know your bank routing and account numbers, amongst some other info. So it's pretty sensitive info. But on both of those sites, that is normal. You can go ahead and give that information to either one of those sites. Okay. Once your KYC is done, you finish setting up your account again on Coinbase or crypto.com because they're vetted. Again, they're vetted. They're legitimate US-based companies. Now you will have access to buy any number of cryptocurrencies. When you're first starting, again, ignore them all. Ignore the noise for right now. Focus on Bitcoin and Bitcoin only right now. You can go into those wallets that will automatically generate, and you can buy yourself some Bitcoin, usually via direct deposit. Most of those accounts use Plaid to connect to your bank account. So say, for instance, you have Wells Fargo, Chase, whatever. They will use the Plaid system to connect to your bank account so that you can get money from your bank into the just crypto.com. You can also wire money. If you do wire money, I know on crypto.com, it's based out of a New York bank address. And in order to wire from that account into your online crypto.com account, the money has to come from a US-based bank account that is in your name. So if you use, say, your wife's account, for instance, and that account is only in her name, you cannot make your own account, Greg, on crypto.com and then wire money into crypto.com. That bank account name has to match the crypto.com account name, just as a heads up if you choose to wire the money. Once the money's in there, buy you some Bitcoin, however much that you can afford, but not anything Jaime mentioned yesterday, not anything you could ever lose. Don't make sure you pay your rent, make sure you pay your bills, make sure you take some out to take, the family on to dinner or yourself to a movie, whatever. Okay. And then we'll talk about how and when to buy, with whether it's dollar cost averaging, if you're going to try to play the market. None of these answers are wrong with how much should I buy and how often. None of the answers are wrong. It just depends on what's going on. Brad's going to likely trade the market a little bit. He's going to probably try to buy some highs and lows to a certain degree. Me, I am not a trader. I am a holder. I am an investor. So when I buy things, I dollar cost average. I might buy a whole bunch at a low time in the market, but then I'm going to dollar cost average, or I'm going to buy a certain set amount, whether that's daily, weekly, monthly, whatever makes sense for me and my budget. Other people might just wire one big slab and sit it and forget it. None of the answers are wrong. They're all right. They're all right. We just have to work out what works best for you in your particular situation. Maybe it's $10 a week. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with $10 a week. There's nothing wrong with $100 a week. But let's start there. And once you get your crypto.com or your coinbase.com address set up, you've read the white paper, you've purchased a certain amount of Bitcoin. Now we'll stop. Full stop right there. Okay. We'll keep building that up till we get to a certain number. And in a later, at a later time, we'll talk about a wallet and the difference between hot, warm, and cold wallets, and when you should move. When do I heard this thing called a ledger. I've heard of this thing called, do I leave it on an exchange? Can I buy on an exchange? Yes, we can go over all this. But if you're just now ready to buy some crypto, Bitcoin, read the white paper, make an account on crypto.com or Coinbase, buy some and hang tight. All right. That's step one right there.
Good stuff, man. I appreciate you, Tamp. Lord Fenrir actually gave it a decent comment here as well. A great thing for beginners to understand what a ledger is, helps people understand why crypto is so valuable. And I was sharing a couple other ones. Gundy stuff and things said, check with your bank to see if they're crypto friendly as well. That could also get you some trouble. So you might want to make sure that is okay as well. Gundy's also saying dollar cost averaging all the way. Also wanted to shout out Mr. DeSoto from the Chaos crew. So appreciate you hanging out this morning as well. We got about pretty decent crowd this morning. We got 15. It's a little bit better than what we had on Monday. So
Yep.
I'll take
And
it.
hey, yeah,
Welcome.
good mentions from everybody. You're not going to get in trouble with your bank in terms of you're going to get, spanked or kicked out. They might just block certain transactions. It's no harm, no foul. So don't worry about that. Ledger, yes, absolutely. We will talk about that, but I am of mindset where you shouldn't necessarily use a ledger until you get a decent amount of crypto saved up that you want to protect, right? My particular number, I wouldn't get a ledger until I have at least $3,000 worth of crypto. Why? Because ledgers cost money. They're $100 and you have to understand how to use them, but they are very important. And if you really are dedicated to the crypto journey, you will inevitably use one for sure. But we'll go over a warm wallet as well. Once you buy your Bitcoin today, tomorrow when you do it, we'll go over, okay, I got $200 in here. I don't want it to go away. I don't feel comfortable with it on Coinbase. Where do I put it? And we'll move it to a warm wallet for now until the ledger comes in. For sure. Great info.
Awesome. Keeping to that topic, the title, as it says, it talks about crypto scamming. And this is something that I wanted to bring to the table this morning because it's always a problem right now. And not that it's not a problem with fiat, right? I mean, how many times have we been emailed by some sort of Nigerian prince that wants all of our money, right?
That's not real?
No, they want to give us the money, remember?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah, they want to give us the money.
No, they're going to buy my truck for $45,000, but they're going to deposit $60,000 and then give me the difference.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But this has been an issue, right? I mean, we see it all over Twitter. There's crypto scammers that it's just a way of life at this point. Each and every video that I put up on YouTube gets flooded with crypto scamming type comments. It's everywhere. And this past year, crypto scammers made off with $1.9 billion after a surge in DeFi theft. This is from CDAM. Crypto hackers made off with $1.9 billion the first 7 months of this year. After a surge in funds stolen from decentralized finance protocols, according to top crypto analyst firm, the losses arising from crypto hacks jumped 60% from last year, up from 1.2 billion in this time last year, according to data from blockchain analysis, chain analysis. In a blog post today, the firm said that the upward trend was likely to continue after two major hacks this month, including a $190 million hacking of cross-chain bridge Nomad and a $5 million hack of several Solana wallets in the first week of August. Notice I didn't say anything about Bitcoin, but there is scammers involving that as well. People try to get you to share your wallet's information and all of that. The whole point the reason why I was bringing this up was, is this going to be a new way of life, or is this just kind of like working out the kinks? And there's obviously people taking advantage of this. We're seeing huge demand just from the fiat side. I'm looking at a lot of the cybersecurity stocks. The demand there is absolutely insane with like Palo Alto Networks and some of the other ones where we're seeing some huge surges in cybersecurity attacks. And we know this firsthand, right, Greg? I mean, you have to deal with it every day. So
yes.
My concern with this is, is this just going to have to be a way of life? Are we going to have to end up teaching people, or at least showing people, hey, this is a problem? Like, is it going to something that we have to constantly monitor? Or is it actually going to get worse? And I just want to get your thoughts. Nobody probably has the right or wrong answer. I just wanted to start a dialogue about it.
No,
I think it's always going to be a way of life, because just like anything on the personal data scamming and filtration, nobody's going to have perfect security. Not everyone is going to have perfect security all the time, right? Somebody's always going to figure out a new way to hack or scam the system. But it's about trying to be as proactive as possible in preventing that. And then on top of that, making sure that, education is out there for everyone to be aware of the scams and understand. We just had a guy that is attached to our facility a couple weeks ago, the old Western Union scam, or the old you need to, transfer money to me. Basically, he got a text message spoofing like his daughter. Hey, I need some money, Dad. Can you help me out? Sure. Well, can you send it in Bitcoin?
Right.
And so he's like, I don't know Bitcoin. Can you guys help me with it? And it turns out what my first thought would have been was to pick up the phone and call my daughter, right? But it's an older gentleman that's like, oh, daughter texted me. Okay, it's her. Only thankfully he didn't get taken advantage of in the end of the day, and did pick up the phone. But he did create a wallet and bought the Bitcoin and was going to transfer it the next day when he found out. So just being aware and utilizing the resources available, and that's stuff that we can talk about on this channel as these things come up and help educate everyone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's growing pains right now. And like Cortex got some good comments in the chat that I think relate to this very well. Greg, yes or no, you've been around some major data server and security for big time websites, Disney, Facebook. Yes or no, in your beginning time at those organizations up until, a few years after where you were, more established in those companies, did the security get better? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Technology, you learn from your mistakes. Okay. So all these hacks that are happening right now, they are terrible. People get destroyed. I've been parts of them before, but they are also opportunities to learn. They are opportunities to grow. And for other people who are trying to solve the same problem as whatever protocol got hacked, there are ways for the new protocols coming out to patch these problems and move on. Okay. $1.6 billion in hacks. Guess what? Last year in the United States alone, banks took over $8 billion in overdraft fees. Okay. Yeah. It's not a hack, but it's, when it comes to scale, we've got to look $1.6 billion. People get hurt. But again, we are new. We are just now here. We're just emerging. This is part of the process. This is part of the experiment, which is why I want to go back to Cortex comments. He says, where is ICX? Scam one after another, stick with Bitcoin and not crypto. He's right in sticking with Bitcoin for security. Okay, that's why we just mentioned, if you're just now getting into this cryptocurrency world, start with Bitcoin. There are reasons why you need to start there before bridging out. And Cortex he's on to something there. Okay. There are opportunities in the crypto world versus the Bitcoin world. But if you are brand new and a green bean in this game, you need to start with Bitcoin. So he's right. Cortex, ICX was an experiment, man. It was an experiment, and it had high hopes, just like many of these bridges have high hopes, just like many of these protocols have high hopes, and they get exploited. They get exploited because a lot of this code is open source, and you have, black hats out there that will study this code, look for weaknesses, look for exploits, and then take them. It's not because the team wanted it that way. It's not because they didn't have their hearts in the right place and grind. It just was an experiment that failed. Does that make it hurt less when you get exploited? Absolutely not. But again, you need to know the rules of the game you're playing, which is why we say start with Bitcoin. It's secure for a reason. Okay. And Peter just said right here, if you could put that up, Brad, ICX is my greatest crypto regret, unfortunately. Bringing this opportunity to the crypto world and introducing the Korean crypto to the USA audience was epic sadness. So Cortex just, asked and answered right there. It was an experiment. A lot of us, myself included, jumped on that board. Peter said I got attached as a shiller, and that won't happen again. Hey, we played, we got burned, move on, right? Bitcoin is still king. It will always be king. The Byzantine generals problem, Bitcoin solves it, and there's protocols working on that, Cortex. They are, if you look at the Cosmos ecosystem, a full, vertical stacked integrated layer one protocol, they are solving the Byzantine generals problem as well there. But we're early, guys. I mean, AOL, I remember I had to plug it into my computer and hear all the, put the CD in, It's not like that anymore. But, if I was to show that to my nephews today, they would look at me like, what is this ancient, terrible stuff? Right. But Kortik is right, which is why we said start with Bitcoin. But there are opportunities. There are experiments in the cryptoverse that is growing, and it's not going to stop growing. So let's grow with it. Let's figure it out together, right?
Yeah. I know. Remember when floppy disks were actually floppy?
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, I have some stuff in my desk right here I would love to watch, but they're on like CDs, and my computer doesn't even have CD. My computer doesn't even have USB ports anymore. They're all USB-C. I have to have adapters everywhere. So
that's crazy.
We're growing. I wish it was overnight. I really do.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So all good stuff. I appreciate the insights and everything that you had said in there. That was really great. So just getting on to some other things here. The market is officially open, and just kind of wanted to recap what the overall market's doing right now. The Dow is actually continuing to sell off. It's down 223 points. S&P is down as well, 33 points, which is good for about 0.75%. The Nasdaq is a big loser so far this morning. It's down 126 points or 1%. Russell 2000 is flat. Looking at Bitcoin right now, it's actually down almost 1%. You guys can see it on the screen here. It's down to 23,600. I was also looking at Ethereum as well, and that's also down around 1% too, down to 1858. Man, it's so crazy to see it down this low. I mean, I know it was lower. It was down to 880 at the bottom. And I actually ended up asking, putting up a poll in our stream so far, and it's 50-50 as far as who thinks Bitcoin has bottomed this year. So we got about 10 votes in so far. So it's 50-50 yes and or 50% yes, 50% no. So I thought that was very interesting.
Everyone is right. Everybody is correct.
It's pretty crazy. I'm sure that more votes will come in. More votes will come in as the stream continues on here. But shifting gears a little bit, I did see if Peter is still watching, which I'm not sure if he is or not, because I know that he had some things going on. But
yeah, he might be in a meeting.
I thought he would appreciate this because I just saw this article this morning. It was Jamie Dimon.
Oh.
It's one of Peter's favorite people.
Oh man, this guy
ripping remote work and Zoom as management by Hollywood Squares says returning to the office will aid diversity, and basically, he's been and a lot of the big banks. Goldman Sachs also spoke to this. Some of the other ones about how, remote work is bullshit, right? And bringing people back to the office is what's going to make for a better business. And I'm not a proponent of this, but I actually just kind of want to get your thoughts and what do you see for companies like Zoom in general, right? I mean, we can pull up the stock. It's obviously done absolutely terrible since 2020, really, since like the end of 2020, beginning of 21, when people started to actually go back to work. Look, this thing was all the way up to $588 on October of 2020, and now trading at around $100 flat. It seems as if perhaps maybe this bottomed out at around I don't know, $80 or so, and it fundamentally is a little bit more expensive still. But I think with looking at Teams, that's the way that we've all been able to connect, right? And Zoom and some of the other ones, and just remote work in general. To me, I think it's not going away. Do I think it's going to be anywhere near what we saw during the pandemic? No, I think that there is going to be use for meeting in the office, and I'll speak to this just within our own company. Having Peter and Greg and Jaime and yourself all in the same spot, it certainly feels better that we're all there. So
absolutely.
I'm not necessarily disagreeing with Jamie Dimon entirely. I just don't think that 100% office being in the office is actually going to be a thing anymore. And our lives have been forever changed. Remote work is here to stay to a certain extent. And I think that I just want to get your thoughts on that. Like, would you be an investor in Zoom at this point? Just your own thoughts and opinions?
I would, but here's the deal. I try to live my life kind of in the middle. I feel like if you swing with the pendulum to one side or another, it's never good. Being an extremist on any topic is typically not healthy. It doesn't matter if you're talking religion, health, politics. If you're hardcore on one side, you're probably missing some pretty good learning opportunities from somebody with different perspectives. So I try to stay in the middle. I think that a hybrid model is probably what most people would feasibly appreciate. Maybe you go into the office, like you said, a couple times, whether it's a week, a couple times a month, because having those brainstorming sessions face to face, being able to connect with people that you work with, and especially things like group projects, they just tend to do better face to face. Does that mean it can't be done remotely? Absolutely not. But I think people appreciate, I know I do, the ability to be at home and be productive from home. Key word. If you're not being productive from home, then remote work is terrible, Yeah. So if you can find a way to kind of have a hybrid situation, I think that's probably the ultimate, maybe not feasible for everybody. And that again just goes back to this whole cryptoverse. If you're a maximalist only on a certain thing, you're missing opportunities that are presented by new thinkers. It might not be completely figured out and polished, but there's opportunity nonetheless. Let's experiment, let's grow and see what happens. So I try to stay in the middle with that. That being said, now that the pandemic showed us what platforms like Zoom or Teams can do, you're going to have some serious competition. Those type of platforms got slammed all at once. No one saw COVID coming the way that it hit. I mean, yes, conspiracy theorists saw it coming for a long time, but the general population did not see COVID coming. So basically Zoom, Teams, streaming gaming systems, they just had to scramble and try to hurry to meet demand, right?
Yeah.
So that experience going through COVID saw some weaknesses in those platforms that let's be honest, other companies are going to try to do better and put that out there for virtual organizations to use, because they want to make money too. And they see an opportunity to make a better product. So would I invest in something like Zoom because I believe that it's going to have some longevity in our new world? Yeah, sure. But just be aware that the competitors are on the way. I mean, just, don't act like they have a monopoly on the whole virtual game.
Yeah, for sure. I think that Zoom does one or two things, but they do them extremely well. Like I would much rather us use Zoom than in Teams, or really any of the other ones, just because of ease of use. The UI is way better. I can be in a low bandwidth environment and Zoom still works where some of the other ones don't. So there's definitely that part of it. But just kind of getting back to like the overall theme of working from home, Jamie Dimon just went on to continue to say that called the office a rainbow room and said that workers who stayed home were denying themselves opportunities to meet other people, and that if you live in certain parts of our country and go eat out there, it is all white. And he was just kind of basically talking about how this affects diversity. He said, meaning remote workers may end up having a more uniform experience if they traveled into work. I don't know if I necessarily agree with this either. I mean, look, I understand like being able to just like bump into somebody and meeting them at work, right? But I think that there's also this ability to be able to have access to other people all over the globe. And what I mean by that is like Facebook talked about this and Google touched on this as well, even though Google is a proponent of going back to work and working in the office, just to be clear. But being able to reach people globally, talent wise, that increases diversity, in my opinion. And looking at that, I think, if we have the ability to grab someone who lives in Germany or in India or whatever that can work with our team and make us better, that to me, first of all, is diversification. Second of all, it allows us to meet new people and hire new people that we wouldn't have been able to hire before because we required them to be at our location.
Sure. I mean, and let's consider the source of this too. Okay.
I know. Yeah.
Jamie Dimon. You remember the South Park Matt Damon? That there was a thing, that kind of a meme that went around a few years back that turned it into Jamie Dimon is kind of what it turned it into via that South Park episode.
Yeah.
Because Jamie Dimon came out and called Bitcoin rat poison. He was super anti. Really, at that time, it was pretty much just Bitcoin and Ethereum. alts weren't a huge deal at that time, but he went off on how it's such a terrible thing, this, that, and the other.
Now he's
And
buying the shit out of it.
yeah, now all of a sudden here, it's not like he had an awakening and said, I was wrong and I take everything back. I should have never said anything without doing my research, and that he's remorseful about his terrible comments. No, he's just buying it all up now. Again, when you have a narrative that only helps the person saying it, look at what they do and not at what they say. Okay. Or no, don't just listen to what they say, because Jamie Dimon is two-faced. I mean, he is hot and cold, bipolar, whatever you want to call it. So Jamie Dimon taking a hard stance, whether it's anti-crypto or anti-remote work, just know he's going to change his mind in given time. I mean, it just is what it is. Again, that's a hard pendulum swing opinion that will most likely settle somewhere in the middle. So again, like hybrid, or like you said, you know, if we have an opportunity to work with an outstanding colleague halfway around the globe, but that's going to be fully remote, well, don't dismiss that, right? Get that person on board to make your team better. But hey, maybe the people who are semi-local or regional, maybe we can link up every now and then in person, or have, you know, once or twice a year, something where everybody comes together. Let's just be real on it. Jamie Dimon.
It's, I don't know, it's so crazy. So I just saw this. We can take a look at a couple other things if you want, if you had anything else that you wanted to bring to the table. Did you see this? Coinbase paused Ethereum transactions during cryptocurrencies merge.
Right. Yes, but that was for a particular reason. When Ethereum is they're looking to change over from proof of work to a proof of stake platform, and they're doing multiple forks. Anybody can fork a cryptocurrency that is an open source code, Bitcoin included. It's been done a couple times. But when people try to fork it, they're going to have to, you know, exchanges like that are going to have to pause transactions on that platform. So basically they can catch up with the brand new coin that is essentially made when you hard fork. So they have to stop so that they can determine wallet snapshots, because usually you get the same equivalent amount of coin of new fork that you had in the old fork on the same platform. So the pausing of that is simply going to be maintenance and updates for all these forks coming out. Got
it. Makes sense. I think it was probably just worth mentioning real quick, because I saw that. I was like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah,
so
that's what it's going to be for. You'll see that a lot with ETH as they try to actually merge over. Yeah. We'll see if that really happens or not. I have a feeling it's just going to be one of those things that keeps getting kicked down the road. You know, we'll change to proof of stake. We'll change to proof of stake next week. You know, right. I'll pay you tomorrow for a burger today. But yeah, Lord said Matt Damon was Team America. You're right, Team America. I defaulted to South Park, but that's what we were talking about. They all Matt Damon, and it turned into Jamie Dimon. Jamie Dimon.
That's hilarious. So yeah, that is actually all I had for today as far as my own topics. Did you have anything else that you wanted to bring to the table?
Just a recap for anybody who might have joined a little later. We just talked about, if you're new into cryptocurrency, you're looking at it and trying to figure it out, start with Bitcoin. Okay. Read the white paper. Don't understand it, but read the white paper. So that way you're actually a little bit more invested in what's going on. And then either Coinbase or crypto.com, set up a know your customer or KYC account there, because they're regulated. They're US. They're going to ask for very sensitive info. That's okay. Set it up. Buy a little bit right now and then hang tight, and we'll go from there. But just a quick recap there. Quick recap to check the links at the bottom, because we have, especially the 10 days of Bitcoin, extremely good series that walks you through kind of the Bitcoin world. There's more advanced things like 90 days of Bitcoin, and advanced only in commitment, not in knowledge base, but 90 days versus 10 days is a bigger commitment. So check those out. We'll have all that down there. And then, you know, the call to actions that, Brad, I'll let you take all the CTAs for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, if you are watching here still, certainly we appreciate you hanging out for the entire time that we were here. We this is still our first week, so we still have a lot of growing pains, and we're going to get through a lot of those and get more organized, which I'm super pumped for. So if you want to see more content on the traditional side investing, which is what I bring to the table, as well as cryptocurrency, Bitcoin in particular, obviously always going to be the highlight there too, then consider subscribing. We go live 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern time, and we're going to do this every day until we figure it out. We're going to continue to just plug this away, and I think it's going to really become something special. So I'm really pumped for this. Tam, thanks so much for hanging out, and obviously Jaime and Greg had to bounce a little bit earlier because they have other meetings that they're attending to, but I'm really pumped to start having like guests and interviews and stuff like that on this channel. That's some of the things that just kind of keep floating through my brain. So you guys want to, yeah, it is going to be a ton of fun. So I'm really looking forward to it. If you guys are interested in checking out more of what we got going on at Medify, make sure you go to themedify.co. We get our newsletter there. Would love to have you guys check that out. We'll put out a newsletter to let you guys know exactly what we're up to as far as that's concerned. Also, consider go following me this afternoon at Own the Chaos, the Own the Chaos channel. I go live at 3:45 p.m. Eastern time to react to earnings and whatever else is going on in the stock market on the traditional investing side. So if you're interested in that, you can feel free to check that out as well. Tam, where can they find you?
They can find me right now at my retail, wacocbd.com. That's WACOCBD.com. That's my retail shop in Waco, Texas, where I am right now. And Lord said, maybe if you let us know, we'll show up. Well, maybe if you subscribe and hit that little bell, YouTube will let you know. But you're right. Again,
he knows better. Hey.
Yeah, he knows the deal. This is day 3. We're going to clean it up a lot, just, working the kinks out. But that's the feedback we need. So thank you for that, Lord. And I want to thank Cortic. I mean, he's bringing up some good points. You can't deny the guy. But we got to work through it together. And that's why we're here. That's what we're doing. That's why we say, just, invest what you can afford to lose, because you will lose eventually, but we're going to try to minimize those losses. We're going to try to do it in a way that makes a lot of sense, but appreciate all the comments today.
Absolutely. Thanks guys so much for hanging out. We'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Until then, have a good one.
Bye-bye.